Hello. Despite the fact that people are outside doing their garbages, it is dusk, so it's not exactly the optimal time. Pardon my framing, I'm still fucking trying to figure this out one handed, and I don't have a selfie stick because I'm not a child. Sorry, selfie stick users. Anyway, I figured I'd use today, because I kind of have a rough outline, but not really, to address one of the questions, which I'm going for the easiest one. And Clay, I will get to yours. I just want to refresh my memory a little bit before I go blabbing my mouth off, like most of you do. So, let me see. Fuzaki Takada asked, yay! Why Tony Stark? As in, why does he appeal to me? It's kind of a complicated question. But when I was younger, my uncle out west in Victoria had a comic and book shop, a used comic and book shop. And, pardon me, hopefully this still looks okay because the light just turned off. Fucking motion sensors. But, he used to let me, when we'd come visit, just take whatever I wanted. Literally just take whatever I wanted. So, when I was a kid, it was pretty... Okay, I'm going to say this. Every time I talk about this particular topic, I run the risk of sounding conceited, and maybe I am a little bit, but really I'm not trying to be. When I was younger, it was obvious that I was different, and it was also obvious from a very young age that I was pretty smart, that I was clever. So it kind of set me in a place outside of all the other stuff that was going on in my life where I stood apart from, kids, and it's hard to be the smart person. It's hard to be that different and not be able to help it because it's just how you are. I didn't really have people I could talk to on the same level for a very, very long time. So I'd get to go with my mom and my grandma and my great-grandma before my brother and sister were born, out to BC to see my aunt and to see my uncle. And he'd just let me have the run of the shop. I could literally just take anything I wanted. And I had a lot of comic books. My Uncle Gord, my mom's brother, loved comic books and D&D and nerd stuff. I was surrounded by it as a kid. So I already had a good introduction to comic books, and Iron Man was one of the first ones I was really, really drawn to. Just because, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of reasons that I really dig Tony Stark. And I like MCU Tony Stark, and obviously I like RDJ, but it has nothing to do with that. It goes way farther back than that. I found myself, when I was reading these comic books, being drawn to the characters with flaws. So it's the same kind of applies to Batman for me, and Doctor Strange, and a lot of other characters. So, Tony was smart. He was really smart. He was so smart he was set apart. Mind you, he was rich, but he was broken. And, if you ever want to read a series that kind of gives you an alternate take on how broken Tony is, go find Demon in a Bottle. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in another video, but it's amazing. It just tears right into the heart of what's wrong with the comic Tony and just digs into his alcoholism, which the MCU kind of carefully skirts. But if you notice, Tony is a lot of the time he's got a drink in his hand in the MCU. So, but yeah, even despite the fact that he was super rich, he was just so smart, and he was everything that I hoped that I could be, hopefully just not as fucked up. I already knew from a young age, especially with the stuff with my dad, that I was not whole, But, I don't know. Plus, I loved technology. I walked around as a kid with a Walkman, and then we'd go to garage sales, and I'd get more Walkmans so that I'd have pieces of Walkmans, and I'd carry around a little mini repair kit, and, it was just... I loved technology. I loved playing with things and tearing things apart and knowing how things work. So having someone like Tony, who is this super millionaire, billionaire, mega rich guy, that's just, he's just an electronics geek. He's just a fucking, he's a genius. He's got money, but he's just a nerd, you know? He was just a nerd just like me, just on a fucking whole other level. And I don't know, the combination of him being so broken and, you know, being that guy, you know, it just, I don't know, it just stuck with me. It's the same thing with Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, I mean, I love magic, don't get me wrong, still do. But I mean, Stephen Strange is a fucked up guy, you know? I mean, he was incredibly intelligent, again, which I'm always drawn to intelligent characters. But he's very fucked up. I mean, the way he treats people, you kind of get a hint of it in the MCU when you see his solo movie, and they kind of breeze through that, but it really doesn't kind of get you the real feel of what an arrogant bastard he was. It's like Tony was reckless, and he was a rich boy. He had everything handed to him. So, of course he's going to be a spoiled brat. But the arrogance of Stephen Strange is just on another level. So it's a different kind of broken, despite the fact that the characters share a lot of similarities when you kind of break down their backstories, and people will sneer about it on the internet. And it's like, no, you have to look into the intricacies of the characters and look at decades worth of stories to kind of realize, yeah, I mean, on the surface, they're pretty much the same. And the MCU really dumbed down both of their origin movies. So, I mean, it's hard to break up that much comic. And I mean, the thing is too, is that, I mean, especially in the early years, those origin stories were breezed over, you know? But I mean, yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of rambling again. What a surprise. I don't know, I'm just drawn to intelligent characters, and I'm drawn to broken characters because, I don't know, it's like, I've kind of resolved myself with Captain America a little bit. I still am not a big fan of Superman. I mean, they've shown him with flaws and stuff, but I still feel like he's too American. You know, apple pie, absolutely perfect. And it was the same problem I had with, you know, Cap for a lot of years. I don't resonate with people who don't have some kind of dark side. I just don't. And maybe it's just because I have a dark side too, obviously. My dark side may be my normal side, actually. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just kind of hard to explain without sounding like a complete dick. But when I look for friends or allies or partners, I look for intelligence. Intelligence is my number one thing, because I want to have some kind of chance to be able to connect with you without having to dumb myself down, because I already do that a lot in my life. Like at work, my God, you know, people treat cashiers like they're the stupidest people on the planet. But in order to be able to connect with people, if you're going to be a good cashier anyway, in order to be able to connect with people on like a really good level, oh my chin, gross. In order to be able to connect with people on a really good level where you can try and hit every demographic, you have to change how you address every person. And 9 times out of 10, I slip all the big words I know out of my lexicon, because I mean, it sets this little block in front of you when you're dealing with people. If they feel threatened by the fact that you're smarter than them, or if they feel like other compared to you, you have to be a chameleon and fit in, which I fucking hate. I mean, it's part of the job that I fucking hate the most. I hate having to do that. I hate knowing I'm good at doing it, you know? But that's what you have to do, and it's kind of like a microcosm of society, right? Because in order to be friendly and fit in, you kind of have to change yourself to be the kind of person that someone perceives you to be. Anyway, this is getting way too esoteric. The point is, I really like intelligent characters. I'm drawn to flawed characters because I am also flawed and intelligent. Plus Tony Stark's just fucking cool. Like, let's face it, the Iron Man suits were fucking cool, even when they were big and blocky and ugly like the Mark 1. They're just fucking cool. Like, it's the ultimate techno fantasy. Who wouldn't want to fucking fly around and be Iron Man and fucking shoot repulsor blasts out of their fucking things? And to be able to just spend a day. That's the other thing, actually. You know what? As an adult now, I have more game perspective on that, because who would not want to be a billionaire and be able to just fucking take a day and go, fuck it, company, I'm gonna go and tinker in my garage all day. Because fuck you, I'm Tony Stark. Like, how could you not have that kind of power fantasy? How? Like, really? Anyway, I've rambled enough, and I'm sitting outside, and I don't know how this video is going to turn out, and I've got the laptop in my lap right now, and the stream is muted. So I had better get back to, doing my gerb. I hope this finds everybody safe and well. If you're inside like you should be, it should. Have a good night. Be safe.